to bring in Floyd Mayweather's name when he was Floyd Mayweather's promoter, and they everybody ridiculed Floyd Mayweather to no end. While he was with Bob Arum, and they laughed about the money he was not making, and people like Larry Merchant constantly compared Floyd Mayweather Jr.'s money to Oscar de la Hoya's money and popularity, and Bob Arum was doing nothing to enhance the career of Floyd Mayweather, but as long as he was getting paid, he was happy. And the idea, of course, hey, keep Floyd Mayweather underneath Oscar de la Hoya, the so-called Golden Boy. That was what they were intending to do all along in the first place. But Floyd was smarter than they thought. He got out from under this guy, and he didn't elevate himself financially. Not the elevation that we're looking at now. That didn't happen until after he left Bob Arum. Bob Arum held him back. So how dare he bring up Floyd Mayweather?
He did a lot of interviews, I remember.
A lot of interviews. He did what he had to do, and he did it well. But if you don't do it, it doesn't happen by magic.
But you feel confident he's not going anywhere, Terence?
We have a contract with him that lasts for another year. If he came to us and wanted out of the contract and we made a financial arrangement, we'd probably agree. So who's going to pay him what we're paying? You understand? It's all business.
Thanks for...
It's all business. It's all business. It's all business until it involves certain other fighters. And I think it's obvious how things work. I think it's very obvious about how things work in this society. And like I said, boxing is a microcosm of the greater society.
The newly released dashcam video shows the moment when Officer Geronimo Yanez stopped Philando Castile for a broken taillight last July. First, asking Castile for his license and registration.
I have to tell you, I do have a firearm on me. Don't reach for it then. Don't pull it out. Don't pull it out.
7 gunshots, point blank range, in his vehicle, with his daughter in the back and his girlfriend to his side. 7 point blank range, because he was getting his wallet. He told the man that he was licensed, he had his concealed carry permit. He told him he was not reaching. The man asked for his license. He was getting his license. Dead. What happened? Nothing. The officer walked away squeaky clean. Black man, family man, dead man. For what? A headlight. I think a tail light. For what? For nothing. He was just black. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. What's this? Oh, Ahmaud Aubrey. Jogging. Out for his daily jog. Did the unthinkable. He was looking at a house that was being built like people do all the time. I do that myself. And he was targeted. He was targeted. They set that poor young man up, and just like from the days of old, they got in that truck, 2 trucks, one filming, the others with their shotguns, and they boxed that man in while he was jogging, shot him dead, had a conversation while his dead body laid to rest. They didn't even try to help him. And that was that. But at least, these goons are now in prison, and I think it might be important to add, if you don't know, some slick folk tried to lie on the parents of Ahmaud Arbery and get these guys to where they could move to a federal prison after a certain amount of time that I cannot remember, which is far better than the state prisons. They also tried to arrange, I think, some type of negotiation where they could actually be released at some point early parole or something. I don't remember all the facts and details, but you can catch some of that on some of the other YouTube broadcasts. But the family, the parents, were irate when they found out that even the attorneys, their attorneys knew something about what was being done behind their backs. They were aware of they were aware of the proceedings, thank God, and they were on top of things, and they made sure that they blocked this. But the truth is, we don't know what they're going to do with these guys. Dirty, rotten dogs. Interesting here, and this is what black people go through. And he didn't get a chance to play the race card, did he? He didn't get a chance to play the race card because he's dead. Now, had he lived through it, there would have been, someone. No matter how injured he may have been, there would have been those out there saying, "Oh, it's not race. It's not." It doesn't matter. He's dead. He's dead. Philando is dead. But we're talking race card. This is not a game. Let's go a little further back. I just think this is interesting, how we are viewed in this society.
It was J. Marion Sims. I won't spend a lot of time with him. He's another figure. You can Google him. Marion Sims. I won't spend a lot of time with him. He's another figure. You can Google him. There's a statue actually of him in Central Park.
Statue in
and
Central
J. Marion
Park.
Sims was an individual credited. He was the father of modern gynecology. How many women in here know what a vaginal speculum is? And for those men in the room that we lost, a vaginal speculum is a device designed to open up the vagina. It was considered one of the most important advancements in medicine that was made. He was credited as being the wealthiest physician to have ever lived. And what's interesting about him, look at the medals pinned on him. I was just very curious about how it was they regarded this man, because no one ever really looked at how did he come up with that vaginal speculum. The way he did it was he actually worked on unanesthetized, did experiments on unanesthetized slave women. He created a makeshift hospital in his backyard in the mid-1800s. He built the first vaginal
experimentation on black people.
And he reasoned that slave women were able to bear great pain, meaning we don't need any
no drugs, nothing for
anesthesia,
pain.
because their race, meaning we don't need any anesthesia, because their race made them more durable, and thus they were well suited for painful medical experimentation.
You heard that.
We didn't even, because we didn't feel like other women could feel. This man would cut into them, and just said, well, since they're black, they don't really feel it. Unbelievable. And more importantly is what he did to infants. Because not only did he experiment on women, he also experimented on infants. He said that black infants suffered from something he called trimus nascentium, which is now commonly referred to as neonatal tetanus. Neonatal tetanus originates in horse manure, which was a likely cause of the disease in slave infants. he attributed it to the indecency and intellectual flaws of slave infants, together with skull malformations at birth. That is a shoemaker's awl, and that's an 1800s shoemaker.
See that? A shoemaker's awl from the 1800s.
He would stick that into the heads of brand new infants.
Did you hear that? That's what this doctor that they taught stuck into the heads of innocent newborn slave children
in an effort to realign their skulls based on the indecency and intellectual flaws of their parents, to treat the malady. Of course, it was 100% death rate. But that's what he would stick in the head of a baby at birth. And so these are things that are so horrific that you can't possibly wrap. And you think to myself, I think to myself, so these are things that are so horrific that you can't possibly wrap your head around it. And this man is, just Google him. And you think to myself, I think to myself, if I were up here in front of you right now, and this is going to become very important as I move into the other slides. If I stomped a puppy to death out here, up here, just a little puppy, stomped it right here to death in front of you, most of you would need therapy. And I would be arrested probably faster than killing a black man for killing a puppy. How could you do that? Do you realize how much dissonance you have to remove in order to stick that into the brain of a child? More importantly, the child can no longer be human. Are you understanding what I'm saying? The reason why he could do it is they weren't human. They didn't even feel pain. That's what this man believed. Now, you may look at that and go, those are horrific things from the past. There's a book out right now, not table reading. It's called Medical Apartheid. This is written by Harriet Washington, came out last year. This book chronicles the experimentation on black people up to contemporary day. See, we want to look at the Tuskegee experiments. We want to look at Sims and go, oh, that just still going on. Implicated, Harvard, Johns Hopkins, because we weren't what? Human. And it was J. Marion Sims.
Say it again.
Implicated, Harvard, Johns Hopkins, because we weren't what? Human. And it was J. Marion Sims. I won't spend a lot of time with.
One more time.
Because we weren't what? Human.
All right. We weren't human. We weren't human. Am I playing the race card? Nah, that was written into the Constitution. Right? So who's the Constitution for? If you know, you know. If you know, you know.
Agent Bob said if he would talk to you
This is
about
about Bud Crawford.
He mentioned Spence, he mentioned Josh Taylor. Is there any individual
Bud
fight
Crawford's
out there
being
that
accused
appeals to you more than others? And secondly,
of playing the race
when do you
card.
make the decision? How do you kind of go through it and come up with your decision?
Well, I'm pretty sure my decision is made already. Bob couldn't secure me the Spence fight when I was with him. So how you gonna secure me the Spence fight when I'm not with him? So, I'm moving forward with my career right now, and I wish everybody the best.
Everybody thought that he was stupid, but he has a contract to fulfill. He can't just walk away. Everybody was saying walk away. You can't just walk away, then they got you. So he had to live it out. He had to go ahead and get through that contract. And now he's doing what he's got to do. It's what a man has to do sometimes. So while everybody was thinking he was stupid and he was just, one of those guys eating his butter biscuits, he was planning. Okay? He was planning. And I think he did a good job. So, hopefully, he'll get what he deserves. I don't know. But, that's how it is. That's how it is. Terence Crawford is not playing the race card. Not at all. What you saw just before that with Dr. Joy DeGruy, that's just the tip of the iceberg, okay? So listen, everyone in America has been affected by that whole slave thing, whether you know it or not. But some people are trying to ensure that it doesn't continue, and some people are trying to keep it, that system. Some people are trying to keep that whole system in place. If you're being attacked because somebody hates your God-given beauty, don't let anybody tell you that you're playing the race card when you know that you're being discriminated against simply because of the color of your skin. Don't let anybody tell you that you have a victim mentality, because if you do nothing, then I can assure you, you will find no peace. You're not moving about with a victim mentality. If anything, it's a warrior's mentality, because you see how few people will take a stand. Even in this boxing world, these guys are supposed to be tough, but only a few will stand up, because it's hard to go against the grain unless you are really made tough. Okay? So self-preservation is the number one rule in human beings, right? In everyone except black people, it seems. We're not supposed to look out for our own preservation. But don't you believe that? Don't you believe that? Bud Crawford doesn't believe it. I don't believe it. And there are many, many others that don't believe it. So I'm going to leave you with that thought. And I don't know. Maybe there's a little something more that we can think about. I think there is. I'll let somebody else say it.
Let's forget the past. Notice this. When Jewish people remember the Holocaust and want the world to remember the Holocaust. Wait. Why do you want the world to remember? Because if the world does not remember, it is likely to repeat itself. And Jewish persons who suffered from the Holocaust want the world to remember this, because the world turned its back while Jews were put in ovens. I, as a black person, want my people to remember